Today I've got two brand new vintage moody Halloween DIYs. Keep watching. I'm Brandy and this is Making It My Own DIYs. Welcome y'all. So the first project is going to be a Halloween cone. Alright, I'm going to use some black matte spray paint. Just happens to be what I have. You can use any black you want. This is a little headband with a hat, and we're going to take the hat off. Some more of that black lace that I'm dwindling away. One of these little signs from Dollar Tree. Some orange picks, and we're going to add some black and orange flowers also. This was sent to me in the mail by a subscriber, a very generous subscriber. She sent me a box full of stuff, and I knew exactly what I wanted to do with this. So I'm going to flip this little piece she gave me by spraying it black. I won't worry about wasting the paint on the inside because you're not going to see that. But I like this. This is a good base. I'm going to take a little pointy brush here and put some of this tacky glue into the cup. And then I'll be painting this glue onto the texture. Yes, put those spectacles on. So there's textured areas. I don't know how well you can see this, but you'll see it better once the design is on. I'm painting it with this instead of using hot glue because it takes a little bit longer for this to dry. I like the idea of it being clear, but you can use probably school glue, but you have to just kind of move kind of quickly, I guess you could say. Your glue is not going to dry super fast like it would if it was hot glue or a super glue, but you need something that's still going to be wet, so you can put a little bit of the design on. All I'm doing is tracing over, trying to copy the same design, just tracing right over that. It's still going to be wet, working in small sections. And I want that because I'm going to take some orange glitter that I found on clearance in the springtime, and I will sprinkle it on. Now this is when you're going to actually see the texture. This is in a shaker. I love getting stuff on clearance, and I love this color. Orange is so pretty. It's kind of a coppery color. So I'm going to sprinkle that on all over there. I'm going to let it fall into the pan underneath, and now you can see what that texture looks like. It's like a filigree. It's like little twisted areas. It just looks old to me. It reminds me of damask. So I think that it kind of mimics a vintage look. Look how pretty this is, y'all. I do also seal this with a matte sealer. I spray it twice with a matte sealer. That's just to keep the fallout from being so much. Then I'm going to paint with my chalk paint, ink black for Happy Halloween, and then pumpkin on the pumpkin. And then I'll put that aside and let that dry. You can also paint the back of it. This is what it looks like once it's sealed with a matte sealer. It is so pretty in person, y'all. It really is. Then I'm going to put the foam on the inside. If y'all don't like glitter, consider maybe using a slick paint or a puff paint. If you have something with texture, you can go over it with an acrylic marker. You can use regular paint instead of using glitter if you want, but I love the look that it gives at Halloween. Now I'm going to trim out the top of it with some of this black lace, or it's kind of a cotton texture, so I guess it's more of a trim, but it's lacy, a lacy trim. There we go. And because it's curved, it makes it really easy on these projects to get them to kind of stay in place while you're gluing them. I'll use a little hot glue, and I'll also use some super glue. I'm just making sure when I lay it down, I extend it so there's a little extra to tuck around the back side. It's just going to help with security so it doesn't get bumped and you don't lose your edges. I'll put this little super glue right down that trim there and then push that into it. You can see I'm kind of pushing it down and into the little space on the side of that rolled edging. Do the same thing on this side. Very easy. You don't have to do this. You can completely do this with super glue, or you could completely do it with hot glue. Totally your preference. But using the super glue helps hold it in place while my super glue gives me some longevity. You can also use your little clamps. I highly recommend these clamps that I get from Dollar Tree. I've used them for years and years and years in crafting, and you just cannot beat them for what they are, right? They just give you an extra hand and help hold everything down. So the free corner here, I'm just going to turn that over, tuck it in the back, the little hot glue to hold it in place, and then trim it off and do the same thing on the other side. Just leaving, ½ inch maybe on the other side so you can tuck it around. If you're learning anything new, if you're excited about being on the channel today, please consider subscribing and giving me a thumbs up. I love it when you share my content and people come here and say, oh, by the way, Sally Jane sent me here, or Joan sent me here, or Carla sent me here. It's very nice and it really touches my heart. So it's a really good way to give back to the channel. All right, so as you see, I painted the back, which is so rare for me, but I did it. I'm going to put a pick on the back, and then we're going to use this on the inside. Yes. I like it. I just used some black felt in the back so you can't see through on that pumpkin. But you can leave it open, totally up to you. Now, so far, so good. I'm always picking the pieces up and looking at them, kind of letting them talk to me. I have 2 of these picks. I don't know if these came from Dollar Tree. I do not know where they came from. I honestly do not know. I thrift a lot of things, but I definitely try to, save money where I can. So I didn't pay a lot for them wherever I got them from. I'm only going to use 2. And I'm going to tuck them down in either side of this little cone. I have done paper cones. I have done all kinds of cones, y'all. And they're festive, they're different. You're not gonna see a cone at everybody's house, on everybody's door. And if you're thinking you wanna try something different than a wreath or a swag, this is an idea that might appeal to you. So now I've got some of these little branches, and mine came from Temu, but you can certainly get, little branches from Dollar Tree. If they're not black, spray paint them black with that same paint you used on your cone. Thank you for being here today. Whatever brought you to my channel, if I came up in your recommendations, if somebody said, hey, go check out Making It My Own DIYs, whatever the reason, I am thrilled that you're spending some time with me and these wonderful people who support me today. Now I'm just going to arrange it. I'm going to take some of these orange dahlias. I got these last year at Walmart. Very good value. Also these, I think these are camellias. They're black with some gold glitter on some of the pieces. I love that. I think that looks good in here. So I'm just going to add that. And you want to have, when you're doing flower arranging, if you're new here, you want to have some variety in the heights of your materials. You don't want everything to be short, like everything short in the front and everything tall in the back. You want to have some variety, maybe like stepping stones upward. So it's nice and full and you can move your pieces around because they're on wire. Okay, so now for this piece, we're gonna dismantle this headband. Most of the time, from my experience, these pieces are just hot glued on. So I'm just gonna twist, twist, twist and pull that off. Sometimes you can use a little bit of heat, but you have to be careful when you have fabric pieces and foam because the heat can melt them. So now I'm gonna grab up this lacy section with the veil, put it aside. And we're going to start working on the hat, which I like pretty much like it is, but we need to be able to sit it on the skull's head rather than having it floating above the skull. So I cut an X with my little utility knife, and then I'm going to use the scissors to clean out a spot about the size of a quarter to have it sitting on top of my little skeleton head. Now my little skull came in a pack of 3. One is green, one is white, and one is black, and they are sort of a velvety like texture. I do not know where they originally came from. I got it from Dirt Cheap. I'm going to fix her veil, decide is this going to be how I want it or do we need to do something else, and I think it's going to work. So I glued it down. Now I'll put glue on the top and then we'll add that hat on there. Anything can be changed on the hat, you can change. You can put a spider there since there's web on it. You can put a bug in that feather. You can put a jewel over that little square buckle in the front. You can change it all out. Totally to you. Whatever your taste is. And yes, I'm fluff it to death because that's how I do things. Flowers, anything that can be fluffed is getting a good old fluffing on my channel. Now I need to make a pick, so I've just grabbed a branch that I have. That I saved these off of picks, and I just pulled off the plastic. And there's a hole that was already in the skull right in the bottom. And I decided we're going to use that. So I'm taking a little bit of black chalk paint. And this is Dollar Tree's black chalkboard paint. And I'm going to paint this green so it doesn't stand out. We don't want it to be a statement that it's on a pick. We want everything to kind of blend in and look like it's floating. I'll add some glue into that hole in the bottom of the chin and some on that wire piece of this pick. Slide it up in there. Make sure I like the angle of it and just hold it in place for a minute or two until it sets up. I'm going to take a little, this is from a spider earring, whatever spider you have. A lot of people don't like spiders, but I just think you need them for Halloween, right? A little spooky. And we're going to put our little, what could we call him? He's just a skeleton king. He's a voodoo priestess. We don't know what he or she is, but she's living her best life, right? Just continue to add in and move things around until it's exactly how you like it. And I like mine like this. I'm looking at all angles. Did I want to put a jewel in the eye sockets? What did I want to do? No, I wanted to leave it white all by itself because everything else is black and orange. And it really stands out. Totally up to you. Isn't it amazing what a little glitter and glue can do? And here that cone is. I love the cones. They're like a Tussie Mussy, and they just remind me of Victorian things. And I know people didn't celebrate Halloween and all that back then, but this is what my idea of what it would be like. You know, these are inspired videos. These are not historically accurate. We're doing something fun, right? Of course. Thank you, my channel members. Y'all are wonderful. We're about 25 strong right now, and it really helps. Y'all, I've got a new channel. Check out the link in the description below. All right, the Pumpkin Queen is the next. Y'all. Okay, I'm going to start off with a bat. These are just the type that you put on the walls. You can get them anywhere. Some more of that trim lace. Some black leaves. These came off of the dahlia bushes that I got before. Pumpkin chalk paint. Love this color. Some Mod Podge. A little wreath. This is left over from some velour pants that I got and thrifted and did some projects with. And this is a planter that hangs outside. I have had several families of wrens living here, but this year our wrens did not come back to it. So I decided to take it down and I put it in the donation box. But guess what? Inspiration has hit. Get those spectacles on, and I want y'all to give this a chance and see the vision with me. Do not click away. You don't want to do that. You'll regret it. You're going to regret it. So I'm going to use that chalk paint. One of the reasons I love chalk paint, some people were like, it don't always be chalk paint. Well, the thing about chalk paint is it's really thick. And although it costs sometimes like $8 for an 8-ounce bottle, you get a lot of coverage in one bottle of chalk paint instead of using acrylic, and it gets so streaky and you have to put layer upon layer upon layer on there. Not with my chalk paint. Okay. Now, I'm just making sure that once I get it on, that I go up and down like it would be for a pumpkin, right? I'm going to go all the way up the top. Probably not necessary because we're going to cover it up. We're going to be covering that part up. But, you know, your visions develop. So this is my vision developing right in front of your eyes. I'm going to dry that part. Y'all might not have this exact thing, but I bet you can find something similar while you're thrifting, and you can do the same thing. I'm taking that chalk paint, it's ink, and I am going to go all over this with a long bristle brush so I can get all the way in the inside. Full coverage. I'm going to get on the inside and everywhere. Y'all, I want to remind you today that whatever you're going through, you can do it. You can make it through. I can make it through. We've got this. There's a lot of people leaving comments. They're in the same situation that I have currently been going through, and I just cannot tell you enough how much y'all's shared stories and your support have meant to me. It's amazing. And we can all be supported to each other, right? We can draw strength from one another when we're weak. All right, so now the bottom part, this is going to be the skirt area. I'm just looking to see how we want this, and I thought, okay, well, let's turn that under, give it a nice clean edge. Then I don't have to worry about trying to get it cut straight because I'll just flip that edge under. And I'll go all the way around, adding a little hot glue at a time, making sure I have enough that's going to hang over on the other side. Just placing it down, going along. And y'all, again, this is my process. Some people want to see it. They want to know what's going on behind the scenes and behind the editing. And I'm showing you that what you see is like completed projects shoved into 30 to 45 minutes of video, most of the time, unless it's a mega video. So it takes a long time to do these projects, you know, it really does. But I don't want you to feel uninspired. I don't want you to feel like you can't do it, because you can. Even if you have to take a couple of days to work on your project, rather than having it done immediately in one day and then up on your door. It's so worth it, right? It is so worth it. We got this, y'all. Now, I'm taking advantage of the bottom of it by just tucking it under and gluing it on the inside. Then I'm going to glue down my loose edges to make it nice and neat, again, where it doesn't snag on anything. And I'm going to start putting the second layer down on her dress. So I'm from the South, and if you've ever heard of the word antebellum homes, receiving, those types of things. If you're from the South, you know what that is. If you tour Southern homes and plantations, you know what that is. I'm trying to give the idea of an antebellum dress. They are very layered and full bottoms, and that's what I'm trying to do here. I'm kind of mimicking that, I guess, by making a lot of layers. So I'm layering the leaves on top. Now the texture is different. They are not the same thing. I would not have wanted velvet leaves the same color right on top of that. You wouldn't notice the difference. I want different textures. I want some variety and some interest in this. So I'm just going around and kind of layering over and under the bigger leaves and the smaller leaves. There's a little pattern to it. And then I'm just cutting off the edges. You can cut those off first, or you can cut them off as you put them down. I was watching a TV show. I've been into Northern Exposure again. I used to watch it, and man, let me tell you something. That was from the 90s. You have no idea how drastically the world has changed until you go back and watch something from then. Oh my goodness. Like a total lack of cell phones. People's different prejudices back then, things that people talked about, and it's so different. It's so different now. The fears are different. Everything is just different. But I love that show. I remembered watching it, and I really wanted to get back into another series that makes me feel good. Because although I love creepy things and ghost stories and, little scary stories and thrillers and stuff, sometimes you just want something to clear your mind of everything and just be silly. And that's kind of what watching that show does for me. And I watch it on Prime. So if any of y'all have Prime and you want a little nostalgia from the 90s, here's your opportunity. And there's many seasons, so you can binge it. All right, so we got that layer down. Now I am going to grab up this piece. This I got on clearance from Joann last year, and there was only one pick. So I'm very limited as to what I can do with one pick. I want it to be shorter than what's underneath. Shouldn't have used the scissors. Had to get my clamps out, my little cutters. And I'll cut them all the same size, and then we're going to make a layer of those. They're shorter than the leaves, so you're going to be able to see the leaves underneath, and then this texture on top, and it's so fiery and pretty. So similar to the color of that chalk paint that I used as well. So I thought it would look really nice and festive in her dress. She's going to be so pretty, y'all. Just wait. Really. Hang with me. Don't give up. Some of y'all have told me before, I almost gave up on you when I saw something, but I'm glad I kept watching. Always keep watching. Give me the benefit of the doubt, y'all. I always do my best to put out quality things. So you might not always love everything I do, but believe I put some thought into it. I did put thought and time into it. And everybody's taste is different. You're not going to like everything I do. Okay, so I'll go all the way around, spacing those out. And it's like a flocked plastic maybe. But it's pretty. The texture's pretty, and it kind of looks like wheat. Now let's get on to the next layer of her dress. I am going to layer some of that black lace right over the top. You see We've got the velvet underneath, and we've got sort of the silky type leaves. Then we have the flocked material, and now we have this lacy piece. Doesn't this look like a nice full dress? Y'all, when the idea hit me to do this, I was like, but something in my gut, even when I doubt things that I'm going to do, something in my gut says, just do it. Just do it. It's a craft. It's creating something. It's art. It's an expression of what you think inside of your head. And not everybody thinks like you. But I'm so glad that I've learned to trust that in myself. And it takes time before you can do that. But when you do, you have a whole lot more successes than failures, I think. All right, all the way around, we're going to glue a little to the back and cut off the excess to make sure everything is nice and smooth. Do not get your glue gun anywhere close to full hot heat or you will melt your pieces. Just a little bit with a lot of movement to get a little spider web off. I decided I wanted to paint this little section. It's 2 rings right here, and I thought I'm going to paint both of those orange because I want to do something right above it. I thought I was being fancy. See, I thought I was being fancy, but I do like the way that it turned out. Then I'm just positioning it and holding my wrist. You can't see where I'm holding my wrist here, and I'm getting really close to that lace. I would have done that first had the thought come to me first, but I was working from the bottom to the top on the skirt, so it didn't occur to me until afterward to do it, right? Okay, now we're going to make this section right here her bodice. I am going to trace this out with that black as closely as I can without making a big mess. But again, if you make a mess, what is it? It's paint. It washes off. You can fix it. You can fix it. And this is like, I don't know what type of material this is actually. Maybe like a hard plastic or something. It's a planner, so it's made out of the stuff planners are made out of. It's pretty sturdy. It's not flexible. It's rigid. And I love it. I can't. Y'all, it almost went to Goodwill, right? It was almost somebody else's treasure. It's almost somebody else's. Now, I could have went all the way up to the biggest round part there, but I can't do it. Can't do it. If I do that, it's going to be too easy to bump up against that orange, so I just decided to leave it. Now the wings. You can make them matte by using Mod Podge, or you can grab some of your black paint and use that. Using the black paint is going to give me a little more weight and a little more texture. I am adding that on, going kind of up and down and with what would be the shape of the wings. And I'll do the back and the front and allow that to dry. Now I'm going to put another piece of this lace right over the orange, and you'll be able to see the orange underneath the black. So it almost appears like this layer is orange and black. Yes. Think of all the ways you could do yours. I'm using like a classic Halloween orange and black here, but you could do yours in so many different ways. You could use something else besides bat wings. You could make her, instead of a pumpkin queen, she could be a fairy queen, or she could be Dracula, or she could be a vampire, or she could be whatever you want her to be. But I love this, and I decided not to give her arms. I'm going to position the wings right on the back side, and the back is flat, so this is going to work great. You need to use a little bit of glue on the cool temperature so you don't destroy your wings because they are plastic. And then I'll put that in place on the back where I feel like wings would be positioned. I mean, she is an imaginary girl, but we're just going to say that that's where her wings belong. Look. Can y'all see it now? Can you see it now? Look. Now, what to do next? So, I've got these it's a sheet of, I don't know, black rhinestones or black jewels. And I thought there's little divots in this area. And I think these will fit down in those little sections and really help accentuate like the curves of what a bodice would be. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense to you. So because these are on little rows, they're going to stay together, but you can actually pluck off the little beads right off the little sticky pieces. Why do I feel like in my head listening to that, it made no sense at all? You know what I mean. Y'all know what I mean. You know what I mean. All right, so now I'm going to take this little section and I'm going to place it down in one of 3 little sections here. So there's one right in the middle and then one to either side. Because she is a queen, right? She needs some sparkle. I thought about pearls, I thought about rhinestones, I thought about using glitter, which would have been fine too. But in the end, I thought, no, we're going to go with this. We're going to go with it. Now, I've had no problems with the sticky tape coming off or peeling away, but you could always use a little bit of glue to hold those in place. Look at that. Yes. And of course, you can see little scratches there from me putting that on. So I will go back over with the black and just touch up the little areas that I scuffed up. And be sure you seal your pieces when you use chalk. I don't always tell y'all that. And it occurred to me watching somebody else's video that I need to be reminding y'all, when you use chalk paint, be sure you seal it. Just use a sealer on top, and that'll keep it from scratching off, okay? Or you can wax it if you're using wax. All right, and then I'm going to go right around the top where that lace connects to the bodice section, or what we're going to call the bodice section, and push it in place. So you can watch me do that, and I want to talk to y'all about something. We get silly sometimes on this channel, and that's the way it should be. I want you to find joy in this channel and fun. You know, I want you to have that. But from reading the comments, there are a lot of people hurting right now. And if you could, just in the comment section after this video, go down, of course, leave me a comment because you know I love y'all. But go down, read the comments, and if there's anybody down there who is saying that they're going through a hard time, would you please just talk to somebody? Just say, hey, I'm sending you some good vibes. You're important. You mean something to me. Something. Can you do that for somebody else? We're all here for a common cause, and it would be so nice if everybody felt some love today. So if y'all would do that and make me feel the way that y'all have made, to make them feel the way that you have made me feel, that would be so wonderful. Such a wonderful, small thing to do on Labor Day. And it's not a big labor, is it? It's easy. It's easy to give somebody else the time of day. I appreciate y'all. I hope y'all know that. And I'm getting sappy a little bit, but y'all mean so much. And the second channel came along because there's so many people who want more. They want to see a bedroom makeover. They want to see me decorate the porch. But that's not what a lot of people want on a crafting channel. So I thought, okay, I know what I'm doing in my home. I know what I'm going to be doing, but let me share it with you so that you can go through this journey with me and find some joy in your own home with things that really, really make you happy. We're going to do that together, y'all. The new channel is already growing. I have almost 200 subscribers already, and I cannot wait. I have a few things recorded, but they are not edited yet, but I cannot wait. Okay, now, enough of that. Now, we're going to make the hat. I'm just using a little piece of paper here, and if you want to use decorative paper, then use that print. Let that print be the outside of your little witch's hat. But for me, I wanted to use it as a base and put something on top of it. So I'm just making my little cone, making sure the tip is kind of tight up there so it looks like a cone. And then I can trim the bottom section down, kind of hold it in place, let that glue do its thing. And then I'm measuring to make sure I get the right size. And when I trim it down, I don't want it to be too small, but I don't want it to be too large either because it won't set down flushly on top. Flushly? Okay, I don't know if that's a word. Flush on top of her head. So the little knob section that's on the top is actually going to be under the hat, and it's going to help us hold things together. See? Perfect. Now when I push it down, it's going to fit. Yes, look at that. Oh my gosh, she's so cute, y'all. She's so cute. Okay, so now before I glue the bottom on, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this cone in a little piece of that leftover velour. And yeah, I didn't get the tip exactly right, but I rolled with it. I just rolled with it. You know, she's been around a long time. The tip is just a little bit raggedy on her hat. That is totally okay. That's because her crow sits up there, or when she takes it off in the evening, the cat plays with it. Y'all know. Y'all know. All right, now I'm just going to push this down gently without crushing the shape of the cone there. And it fits, so I know it's going to work. I'm going to add some glue on the inside of the hat, making sure it doesn't drip down all over the place. And then set it on top of the head, what is now going to be the head. And then slide that wreath, that little mini wreath, right over the top. This is actually a napkin holder, little wreath piece. Thrifted. I have no idea where it came from, y'all. I don't know. I'm sorry. And then I'm going to add a little bit of glue to keep that wreath from slipping off. Although it's a pretty tight fit, but I don't want to take any chances. Now we're going to give a hat band. So I'm going to use a little piece of ribbon. This is papery type of ribbon. You can get glittered ribbon anywhere. Don't know where mine came from, actually. And then I'm going to take a little bit of glue so I don't make a mess. We don't want to waste too much glue and just make a nasty old gummy mess. And then I'm going to wrap this around. I want the back of the hat band to be in the bag. I'm going to keep it nice and neat in the front. I'm lining it up on the back side to make sure that you don't see where it starts and stops. And then I've got some little puffy stickers, and I'm looking at sizes. And I think I want this little bat on here because she has bat wings. So why not have a bat here? I'm curious. What do y'all think her name should be? What should we name her? I'm calling her the Pumpkin Queen, but she has to have a name though. So what is her name? All right, now I'm just using a black marker to go over the edge of the white sticker because, like I said, it's dimensional and puffy. And I don't want that white to show, so I'll go all the way around it. I just use a little bit of hot glue in the middle so that it will stand out instead of squishing it and squishing the cone. I want to give that time to dry, of course. Now, you can either paint on eyes, you could use googly eyes, or you can just do like me, and I'm going to make this super, super simple. She's only going to have eyes. She's not going to have a mouth. I'm not making her scary. Just eyes on the top. One little black rhinestone on one side and one over here. I think when you leave some space, it makes her look more kind. You put them too close together or too far apart, she may look creepy, and I don't want her to look that way. Oh my goodness. Y'all don't name her Esmeralda. She's way too pretty for that. Oh, I hope y'all like her. She's so sweet. Y'all, I've got so much stuff. I cannot wait to get decorating with my Halloween stuff. But first I got to get the other channel up and running. Here she is in all of her glory. I love all the dimension and textures on her. She's so stinking cute. And who would have thought you could use a planter to make such a beautiful piece? Got a lot of Halloween decor pieces for you to look at, and I want you to start off with a little rectangle that's going to pop up here on the bottom of your screen. If you have not subscribed, please subscribe to the channel and check out the description box for the new channel. Thanks for stopping by, and I'll see you soon. Bye.